Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the All Access Studio. I'm your host, Marty Finn. Joining me now, I'm very happy to be sitting next to Tamar Elkeles, for the Chief Talent Executive from Atlantic Bridge. Tamar, welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. All right, so we're going to start off with the first question that we're asking all our guests. It's about your career aspirations growing up. So when you were a kid, what did you want to grow up to be?
Okay, so Marty, it's kind of an interesting story because I did it, right? So when I was in sixth grade, I wrote a story about my life. And they asked you to write your life and what you were going to be. And I wrote, I wanted to be a psychiatrist because I wanted to help people. And I ended up getting my PhD in psychology. And what I do today is I manage learning and help talent in organizations. And in reality, that's exactly what I said in sixth grade. So I'm the anomaly, right?
Okay. Yeah, you totally trumped my I wanted to be a dolphin trainer. And like never quite made it happen.
I still want to help people. That's my whole goal. Is right now I'm into development, right? And that was essentially what you're doing as a therapist. I mean, I don't sit with people on the couch, although you have me here on this one, so we could
I mean, if you got an hour, I got the time.
We could go through that. But what I'm doing all day long is I'm helping develop talent, right?
Yeah,
and helping people learn and grow within their careers, and that brings me tremendous joy every day.
Amazing. Do you still have the story you wrote?
I do. It's called My Life, and I could actually, and I wrote it in like a rainbow marker. Because, you know, at that time, rainbow was really big.
I'm familiar with a rainbow marker.
I had the rainbow marker, and I still have the book with photos and everything.
Amazing. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
Not many people can actually say that.
Absolutely not.
What they said in sixth grade is essentially what it is they ended up doing with their careers.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so you talk a lot about agile learning culture. Mm-hmm. What are ways that companies can build one? Like, how do they get started?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is trying to create opportunities for employees to have flexibility in their work and flexibility in the way that they learn, right? I mean, we know it's about one size fits one. You know, it's not one size fits all anymore. And so we need to really make sure that we're creating organizations as well as learning opportunities for people that are very personal. So if we look at things like Amazon or TripAdvisor, people are rating all day long, right? People are providing feedback all day long. And so it's important for us to think about the agility is around providing feedback, around being adaptable, being able to change. And in organizations today, the ones that are the most successful are the ones that are adapting to what their employees want. Yeah. You know, you have multi-generations in workforces today, right? Mm-hmm. And so you have a tremendous amount of leadership who's been around in organizations for a long time. You have new emerging leaders that are coming, interns, for example, in your organization. And so most of the time what it's about listening to your employee base and really adapting a learning culture and adapting your organization to fit the needs of everyone that's there.
Yeah, and I have to assume, too, I'd love your opinion on this, that has to be led from the front, right? From the top.
Well, I think there's two ways to lead it. I think things bubble up from the bottom, from the employee base, and things come from the top, right? And I think that there's this kind of squeeze in the middle, which is the inflection point for us, right? So if you have a base of 30,000 employees that are telling you they want something a certain way, and then you have your group of 100 executives that say a certain way, at some point you're going to come to the middle. And that's what I've seen in organizations, is there is that happy middle for everybody.
Awesome. Great, thank you. So in the future of work, do you think soft skills are going to start to be more valuable? We focus a lot on like those hard skills, those very definite things. What about soft skills?
I'm so angry that everybody here keeps referring to it as soft skills. It's not soft skills. It's professional development. Those skills are critically important, right? Skills like thinking, skills like self-understanding, skills like emotional intelligence, things like communication, ethics, empathy. All of those skills are critically important in our organizations. They're not soft in any way. Those are the key differentiators for the future. So to me, it's professional development. It's not soft skills.
All right.
And in reality, as you know, leaders make a big difference. And a lot of leaders have to show levels of humility and also levels of empathy, good communication, great manager quality. And that's what differentiates organizations. So I look at that and I say it's really those skills that are almost more important than those what you're calling hard skills.
All right. Soft skills officially stricken from my vocabulary.
Professional development.
The Death of Soft Skills by Tamar Elkeles.
The rise of
Pick up her new book. Got it. So how can companies assess for professional development, formerly known as soft skills?
Yeah, I think what we need to be doing all the time is assessing talent, right? So it's about the skills that they have. It's about the skills they're going to need in the future. It's about their potential as well as their performance.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we're looking at just how are people performing, but we're not really thinking about what are they going to be doing in our companies next year and the year after, right? I'm big on creating talent pools, not succession plans. And when
Okay.
you think about pools of talent, you think, I want to develop a pool of great general managers. I want to develop a pool of great software engineers. I want to develop a pool of great salespeople. And then you can pick from those people across your organization. So assessing those skills as a group instead of saying, this is for the box and a succession plan, I think is the wave of the future.
Absolutely. I think, so I lead a customer success team here at LinkedIn. And I think we always say, formerly known as soft skills, like you can't teach soft skills, right? So
BS, you can teach everything. I wouldn't be a learning professional for 30 years in this industry and in this business if I didn't believe that we can all learn.
Yep.
So early on in my career, I was working with autistic children.
Okay.
And just to kind of give you the power of that, right? I was working with kids who were diagnosed at age 2, and I was working with them up until they were 5.
Wow.
And I mainstreamed these kids into preschool. And these were kids that were diagnosed as being mute. They were hurting themselves. They weren't able to communicate. They weren't able to do much but self-stimulation.
Yeah.
And in reality, what I saw was the power of development, the power of learning. And if I was able to reinforce new skills, I remember the very first day that one of these children said the word mom.
Wow.
And the mom walked in the room. That child was never speaking, according to that mother. And then here I was able to create an opportunity for that kid to be able to say mom.
Wow.
So I've seen the power of learning. So I really do believe that you can teach it. I was teaching mute children to speak. I taught rats in a cage how to play basketball.
Basketball?
Yes,
Okay.
they were throwing the ball. Why? A reinforcement theory, right? So if you think about it, what we reinforce and what we reward talent in organizations, that we're going to get that behavior again. If we reward those behaviors, we'll continue to get great behavior from those employees. But it's about the rewards, and it's about a lot of learning.
So if you can teach a rat to play basketball, maybe there's hope for me.
There's hope for everybody. I'm a firm believer in development for all.
Okay.
And people will peak at different times in their careers.
Yep.
We can teach leaders. I do not believe that leaders are born. I do believe that there's an opportunity for us to make them.
Okay. So companies, so we know they can be taught, right? Positive reinforcement. What's step one for a company trying to really make a move in this space?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is thinking about the reward systems and how are you going to reward and recognize talent, right? We really want to have leaders who exemplify the values of our organization, who are great managers of people and also managers of functions. And so based on that, I really think it's about looking at our reward systems. I also think it's the power of feedback.
Yeah.
I
feedback.
talked about it earlier in my
I'd love to
session.
hear your take on feedback.
Yeah, so, some people say that, feedback is a gift, but as I said earlier, my husband doesn't think so. So instead, feedback is free, right?
Okay.
And if you...
I always say I just keep the receipt. Feedback is a gift, but I keep the receipt.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. Feedback is free, right? So if you want to give if you want to give feedback to somebody, tell them you have something free for them. You go, I have something free for you, and it's called feedback. And most people like free stuff. So would you like it, right? And typically they'll say yes. And I was telling a story earlier on stage that one of the CEOs that I was coaching, I said to him, hey, I have something that's free. Would you like it? He said, what is it? I said, people like free stuff. You probably want some. And he said, okay. And I said, it's free feedback. And I told him, I said, you are highly dismissive and you don't listen. And he said, oh, that's interesting that you say that because my ex-wife said the same thing. I said, she was right? So that feedback is critically important for us to be able to develop people in our organizations.
Yeah, all right. Feedback is the starting place. So I think you talked a lot about empathy and kind of executives being open. I think vulnerability plays into that too. Like, how do you see that coming into this equation of everything?
Yeah, I think there's vulnerability. I think there's a level of humility, right? We're all people, and we all really do want to perform. I haven't yet met an engineer that doesn't want to do a great job.
Sure.
I haven't yet met a salesperson who isn't striving to be the best. It's really around our leadership. And part of that leadership challenge for us is really around relating to people. And if we have great communication and understand that everyone is out there to try to do the best that they can for companies, then at the end of the day, we're all in this together. And it's not a we versus them. It's really all of us collectively trying to advance organizations.
Yeah. Can you please share, and sorry to put you on the spot with this, but I feel like you're ready.
Yeah.
An example of, a company that you've worked with or an organization where you really felt like your most proud moment of really helping those coaching moments.
Yeah,
the rats playing basketball is great, by the way.
And autistic kids being able to speak,
autistic kids is
right?
number one. That is number one.
Those are pretty good.
That is number one, but in the workforce.
Yeah, I get really excited when I see leaders that get promoted.
Yes.
And I see leaders who were good and I made them great. And that was a combination of feedback, and it was a combination of coaching, and it was a combination of their own will and determination to change behavior. And if they get reinforced for that, they'll continue to operate that way. And I get really excited when I see people promoted and recognized and rewarded for a job well done.
So you hit on a key word there. We work on it a lot at LinkedIn. As a manager, we work on a lot of development with this, coaching.
Yes.
Like, if someone could take away from our conversation right now 1 to 2 things that is like super effective for coaching, what is your advice there?
Yeah, I think one is giving feedback. I think the other is being very transparent, right? And not sugarcoating it, because the more transparent you are, the better. Look, employees can see the real deal. The optics are out there. They know what's really going on. So it's important for us to be transparent. And I think it's important for managers to be transparent with employees. So from a coaching standpoint, it's all about transparency, and it's really all about providing good feedback.
Open and honest.
Yep.
All right. Well, Tamar, thank you so much for joining us. It was great having you in here. I loved having our chat. For everyone on the live stream, we're going to turn it over to the main stage and hear from Mark Labosco and Marta Riggins to finish out our day.